Naoya Inoue and Ramon Cardenas just saved boxing. I know I'm being a bit hyperbolic with that statement, but man, they really put on the only noteworthy boxing match this past weekend when Canelo and Ryan Garcia were headlining their events. That's crazy to me. Such high-profile figures, they shit the bed, but Inoue, man, he smashed it. Round 1 of Inoue vs Cardenas begins with Inoue posturing a bit, measuring the distance, and then throwing an actual combination of punches, unlike Canelo and Devin Haney in their most recent fights. Inoue knows how to double up shots and mix up his attacks, and it's welcomed by me, especially after the last few events. I love when fighters actually throw punches in the double digits per round. In my opinion, Cardenas lost the first round, but it wasn't like he was just a punching bag willing to get pummeled the entire fight. He came into that ring to fight, and his heart showed in the later rounds of the contest. Cardenas, every time he threw a shot, he committed to it and aimed to break Inoue's guard. Before we analyze the rest of the fight, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out consistent combat sports coverage, and I'd love for you to be a part of the journey. Round 2 is the most noteworthy round of the fight because Inoue actually gets dropped by Cardenas, marking the second time Inoue has ever been knocked down in his professional career. Before I even watched the fight, all of the headlines regarding it were talking about the Cardenas knockdown. It may have overshadowed Inoue getting the victory against Cardenas, and the knockdown being such a major talking point kinda proves how elite of a fighter he is. I find Inoue to be such a complete fighter, and it's so rare to see him in any kind of real danger. So when his opponent not only connects with very solid right hands, but also knocks him down, the fight instantly becomes more exciting. And the headlines immediately turn into, wow, Inoue was actually hurt. Inoue got dropped early on into the fight by a beautiful shot set up by Cardenas, but the thing about Inoue is that he stayed completely measured, composed, and seemingly unfazed by the knockdown. He takes a round to recover, and then it's back to business as usual. That's what a proper champion does. That's what a potentially pound-for-pound #1 boxer does. He doesn't get gun-shy or alternatively overzealous with his shot selection. He allows himself the time necessary to get back into the swing of things, and then proceeds to outbox Cardenas. That being said, to give credit to Ramon outside of a knockdown, he did a great job at brawling with Inoue on the inside. If there's one flaw in Inoue's game, as minor as it is, I'd say it would be his inside work. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible deficiency or that Inoue sucks at boxing on the inside, but mid-range is where he's most comfortable. I think that's fair. As the rounds went on, Inoue was slowly but surely taking control of the fight again and was battering Cardenas up against the ropes. Cardenas showed some balls to keep on going, swinging at Inoue and taking so much punishment towards the end. The fight was ultimately stopped in round 8 by the ref, however. Round 6 was really the turning point, and when Inoue made it look easy and showed why he's a pound-for-pound great boxer. Naoya Inoue stopped Cardenas in the 8th round, but it wasn't a complete shutout performance. Inoue eventually figured Cardenas out for sure, adjusting his strategy when coming into throw shots mainly, but there were times where Cardenas was having quite a bit of success, not including the knockdown. Where does Inoue go from here though? He's had 4 title defenses as the undisputed super bantamweight champion, beating the likes of Luis Neri, TJ Dehaney, Ye Jun, and now of course Ramon Cardenas. He's shown that he's the best in that division and nobody can really match him. A lot of boxing fans have been calling for Inoue to fight Junto Nakatani, who's the WBC champion in the 118-pound division. Now Inoue has already come and conquered that weight class. I don't see the point of him going down again just to make this fight with Nakatani. I understand that Inoue vs Nakatani would be a massive bout for Japan, but I see more exciting matches they can make for Inoue in the weight class above. I mean, it seems like every fucking champion at featherweight seemed content, holding onto their belt, not trying to unify, biding their time and waiting for that Inoue paycheck anyway, so maybe that should be Inoue's next course of action. move up to featherweight, and aim to become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. In terms of pure accolades, you can make a case for Inoue being pound for pound number 1 if he does that, and at featherweight, there would be some great clashes of styles for Inoue to deal with. Nick Bull, the WBA champion, versus Inoue seems like a fun fight, for example. Nick Bull would rush in, apply a ton of pressure early on, and attempt to land bombs. I'm not saying Nick Bull would beat Inoue, I don't personally think he can, but in terms of style and how Nick is just so aggressive, I would love to see how Inoue deals with that. Either way, I'd want to see Inoue move up and go for undisputed again. He's already proved himself as the absolute best at super bantamweights, and while I understand why a Nakatani vs Inoue event would be amazing for a Japanese audience, I'm not really interested in saying Inoue moved down a weight class that he's already dominated. Nakatani is new blood, I get it, but I don't know. He doesn't excite me as much as a Nick Bull getting in there with Inoue. So what did you think about Inoue versus Cardenas? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you down the road.